Hello, so today we're going to do a demonstration of cross-platform app development in the same environment we used to develop the app for the 121GW. See how it goes. Let's open up Visual Studio and let's create a new project. So we're going to do a Xamarin project. This is my platform of choice for these things. And you want to click cross-platform app. And we're going to call it EEV phone calculator, and then we're just going to create the project, and this should actually give us a page with some writing, I think. So I'm going to target Windows and Android and Windows Phone, not because Windows Phone is supported anymore, just because if it works in Windows, it works in Windows Phone, which is nice. So it just happens to be that I'm targeting all three, and I'm basically just going to use default controls. Not a lot else here. What do we want to do? Minimum target. Yeah, sure. And it'll probably give us something similar for Android. Well, it should. It didn't. It's targeting something random. That's great. Okay. So let's first have a look at what we have. And I'm going to develop this in Windows just because it's the fastest way to debug. Let's see what it starts off with. Specify path and file name. Shoot. So let's close this solution. Let's find the file. And totally don't know if this will work, but let's just put this somewhere closer. And just put it here. Okay, so I pasted it on the root directory of my G drive. I got these random Git files which I don't care about, and I'm just going to reopen the project. This might not actually work because there are internal paths embedded in projects. I'm just hoping they're all relative. It does look like all those things worked. We will receive error messages in the output if it doesn't. It's a good thing that error came up actually, because that is a really common error. I mean, I've had it in obviously I've had it in every project I've ever done, because I've had my projects directory in the same folder and I haven't bothered to change it. Anyway, so it looks like it's working. Local machine, let's go. And it's on the other screen, but it's running. Yay! There's the Xamarin splash screen I thought would happen, and we might get some writing in the middle. Yes, welcome to Xamarin forums. And there are two ways to develop. One is in XAML, which is kind of like a HTML-y thing, and we're not going to do that. Anyway, so we're going to have a few things. We're going to have a button, and this is going to be calculate. No. Plus, minus, divide, multiply, equals, compute. Enter. Let's call it enter, which might also be reserved. Okay, so we've got those buttons there, and then we're going to have the keypad button. And this is going to be an array, because keypads are, kind of like an array. And there are 10 different keys, 1 to 9. And that should be okay. Array size cannot be invariable. Really? Alright. Does that? Okay. I always forget that C# is basically all on the heap. Anyway, so now what we want to do is initialize these things. So first, plus equals new button, text equals plus. For you Uber nerds out there, I could use reflection to set the button text here, but that would limit what I can set the text to later, and also it's totally an unnecessarily and overly advanced concept to do here, so this doesn't take very long. Anyway, so then we're going to do this, and then we got all our buttons. So operation buttons, and we're going to actually have to add the operation as well. So let's do that. Plus dot, and we only care about that. And press, there we go. Plus it equals, and we'll hit tab and let it autocomplete. Minus, and this is why I use Visual Studio, by the way. This exact thing, which I find it to be almost flawless. It follows my naming scheme as well, so I'm very happy about it. I didn't even change it. It just happened to be how I thought. Anyway, maybe they brainwashed me. They brainwashed me, I know it. What am I doing? No, I meant to let it do it. Why am I doing a calculator? Well, firstly, Dave and I both like calculators. That's not how you spell multiply. And it's also a good demo, and there are, in my opinion, no good calculators on the App Store. Yes, I know I've downloaded a lot of them. I'm very picky, and this one is going to be worse than most of them, so hollow reasons for doing things. Well, the real reason I'm demonstrating. Anyway, now I could separate these into separate classes which encapsulate, regions of buttons, but I'm not going to, because the more I can have this all in one file, the more readable it will be to other people. And normally I don't do this type of block thing either. Okay, so let's just, so we've got these operation buttons events here now. Okay. So then we're going to have the keypad, and the keypad's a very different thing. We don't actually care about this. Is self-explanatory. These are called events for everyone who doesn't know. This is the key pressed event. So when someone clicks the button, like I'm clicking that thing, it will run this function. It's just like a normal function, a block of code which runs when that press event occurs. Anyway, keypad buttons. So to set up the keypad buttons, I'm going to do a for each var button in keypad. Now everyone's like, you didn't initialize keypad. I know that. Okay. And that goes like that, I think. Yep. Okay. So this is going to go through all of them, and it's going to give me access. And first thing, I obviously need to construct each item. So button equals new button. Okay, there's probably a way to do this, but I'm not going to bother, because this is fine, and I need an index anyway. Okay. Is that a function, is it? Yeah, okay. And obviously you can't use that anymore because, and var button equals keypad. And we kind of want this to be a ref, and I'm not sure if you can do that like that. Maybe you can. Does that work? Oh! I don't know if this is a good idea or not. I think it's probably naturally a reference anyway, but I'm trying to show people reading this that I'm actually setting the thing in the keypad. I'm pretty sure it would do that anyway though. Anyway, button text equals index.toString. There we go. Now I've set up the buttons. And now we actually want to have a slightly different event, a keypad event. We're going to combine all these events. And this is actually quite important because we want to work with numbers, not with weird buttons. So what I'm going to do is a thing called a lambda. These are really, really useful. And let's just follow the format here. So you've got one thing here. You've got two parameters. A lambda is basically a function without a name, but you can also use it like a variable, which is pretty cool. All right, so, geez, there's so much prerequisite knowledge for this video. That's okay though, right? No. Oh well. Keypad button pressed. And we only care about index. I'm going to drop those two, and we're going to run this, and then we're going to actually just generate the method. Okay. Very nice. And that's so funny. All right, that's so stupid. End region, and then This project will be open source, so hopefully you can make it into the best calculator app in the universe. But we're not really starting with anything very good, so it's elegant, but it's not very good. It's pretty terrible, actually. All right, so these numbers represent a keypad, and first thing we're going to do in this regardless is convert it to our type, and we want to kind of save this type up here. Anyway, so I'm going to convert it to a double. Value equals index dot actually it'll convert in here, so, and we want to have that as const because we don't want to be able to change the actual value. Firstly, okay, when you intend to do const, you should probably never remove it because it is a very useful thing, but because I'm doing a video, and people need to understand this, because I'm doing a video, I'm not figuring out what's wrong because I'm doing it quickly. Anyway, so, and now we're going to have a result. I'm going to start off with 0 or 1, I can't remember. Anyway, so, and we'll also have a buffer. Anyway, and our buffer is just going to be set to our index. There's a cast, this automatically does this, although maybe I should just notate it anyway because it'll give me a warning, it'll be annoying. Anyway, so there we go. Okay, so everyone who's wise is thinking, what are you doing? And rightly so, because this isn't actually what we want. When you type a calculator in, when you type in a calculator, you press 1, you get 1, and then the next thing you do, if you press 2, it should be 12. It shouldn't be replaced with 2, and that's what it's doing at the moment. So what we want to be doing is buffer times equals 10, and that will shift over the number by 1, and then we want to add the index. Yeah. Apparently we have no decimal point on this calculator, so there you go. We'll figure that out later. Okay, so we don't necessarily want to do enter initially, so we'll leave it up like that. We're going to work on the result, and the result will eventually be a property. Well, we'll make it a property immediately. Public. It doesn't have to be public. Double result. It's in capitals because I don't know. Anyway, so this is a temporary property, and we can actually work with this. That's fine. So if we type multiply, result times equals buffer. And every time you do an operation, you clear the buffer. And you've already figured out how easy this is. Truly, truly easy. And you see some people develop these calculators. I watched a video of this, and sometimes they get really complicated. Anyway, this is not one of those. And when you press enter, it just equals the buffer, I suppose. Sure, that makes a lot of sense. Not really. Let's not clear it there. Maybe I'm not thinking this through enough, but okay. And then, so we've got all these buttons, and we actually want to make this a grid. We need to put a grid on the screen. So, whoa, what the hell? Anyway, so what we want is set up the grid. So content, that's what's displayed on the page, equals new grid. Okay, so show it, dude, bro, hello. I'm not making any sense. All right, grid. So new columns, column definitions dot add. New column definition. And okay, so I've actually kind of solved this problem before, where you're adding items to a grid and you don't want to really be thinking about where they're going. You just want to add them in the right order and be like, yeah, done. All right, so I created this little wrapper, and I am going to use something from one of my libraries. This is an open source library, by the way. It's part of the 121 GW app, and anyone can download it, use it for your own thing. And I call it AutoGrid because it fits what I think a grid should do. And I always use them relatively consistently. So why shouldn't I automate my relative consistency. Anyway, I probably could have used a... Anyway, here it is. Here's my AutoGrid. And I'm going to have to fix some of things because I'm doing some things that don't make any sense. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. And globals run in main thread. I don't have globals. Don't care about that. We'll just use defaults. Don't care about that. This is kind of why I pasted it. Geez, device dot run begin invoke on main thread. Sure, that'll do. This probably has a parameter, but I don't care. I'm going to copy it with braces and put it there. Yeah, that'll be a sufficient replacement. Okay, so I've got this AutoGrid thing all ported. That only took about a minute, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an AutoGrid because I like AutoGrid. Oh, right. Yeah. And the AutoGrid does require some... No, it doesn't. What does it want from me? Cannot create instance of abstract class or interface. AutoGrid. Is that abstract? I don't remember making it. Really? Did I want to inherit from that, did I? Well, screw it. Alright. So, .add. Let's see what functions I have. Let's look in here, though. Okay, so we want to run these two. There's probably something that does them both at once. Should be, anyway. Define grid. There we go. Define grid, and we want it to be... So we've got how many buttons? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we got 10 numbers. So what we're going to do is put the numbers at the top, ordered in the standard keypad thing, like on the numpad, and put the operations at the bottom and the side, I suppose. Yep, who cares? Alright, so 4 and 4, that'll give us 16 items, and what we have is 10 plus 5 is 15. Nice. So now this is going to be a bit weird. AutoAdd. That probably could just be called add, but I wanted to make it clear that it's not a grid, so I didn't really... Whatever. Alright, so this time we're going to do basically the same thing, but we're going to do it in the other order. So, 2 greater than equal to 0. And I actually don't know if you can do a for each backward. Who cares? Alright, this doesn't matter anymore. Let's just do that everywhere. Who cares? Okay. So that's all irrelevant now. And grid AutoAdd button width 1. Oh, it's default 1, so we'll just handle it. And that should do a very weird combination. 3, 5. That'll be easier. That's actually exactly the number of things we need, so that's good. Alright, and let's have a look what it looks like. So we've defined a grid, set up a grid, and we've added the buttons. We've only added the numbers though, but we can test a few things now. Cannot convert for uint to int. Look what I do to myself. I like uint because it indicates that this can never be negative ever. So we should have some buttons. Out of range? What? 10? Alright, well that is obviously correct, as it always is. It's an error message. Kind of knows what it's talking about. Alright, so 987654. Oh, there we go. That's kind of backwards, isn't it? 9876543210. And we kind of want to swap this. Kind of want to invert the row and column because numpad's kind of like 7, 8, 9. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So we want to do that as well. Not a clue. Temporarily, we're gonna do some crappy code. All right, just all right, please. Anyway, so please, this is index remapper equals mapper. Now this can be static because it's always there and it's only run once, so it's just all right. Okay. So index 0 is as is, but 1 is 3, 2 is 2, 1, 4 is 6, 5 is 5. Geez, it's hard to think about. 6 is 4, 7 is 9, 8 is 8, 7 is 7. Okay, wait, 7 isn't 7. 9 is 7, is what I meant to say. And make sure I don't have anything unique. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And that should be okay. Something wrong with this, but I don't care. Equals new. Does that not work? I don't care. Const. Okay. Seriously? Expression must be constant. I don't know why these initialized lists don't work. Don't they work? Brace. Array. Damn it. Alright, well, apparently I don't want to make it const because I don't... Look, again, same thing before. Const. Ignoring const is a really dumb idea, okay? And there. Okay, so now let's have a look. Seven, 8, 9. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And this is exactly what we see on an numpad. So yee-hoo! So now what we want to do is the next thing, and the next thing is set up the buttons. And we can just add these one by one because they're all unique and I can't iterate through them. So let's tab these, and yes, tab, not spaces. I know. People who like spaces can go internally explode. It's a metaphor. It's not literally. Anyway, so here you go. Now we have this, and we actually, if index not equal to 0, button it should do that. Else grid dot AutoAdd button 2. Now we're actually short. We're short a button now. I'm just gonna get rid of the enter button. I don't care. Anyway, so now it'll look more like a numpad. Ha! Too many multimeter menu. Too many items in the multimeter menu. Yeah, well, that's true because I literally said out loud I'm going to get rid of it and I didn't. It's nice. It gives you good error messages though, right? So here you go. 0 plus minus divide multiply. Yay! Okay. Looks horrible, but that's okay. So now we're going to have a label, and the label is going to be result. Result. And we're going to have a label for the buffer. Buffer. That's nice. Buffer. And here we're going to do private. We're going to make a buffer, and we're going to make this. This is kind of why I work with properties, because you can do this. And this is all, all my mistakes. So you're going to see stupid shit I'm doing here, and you just have to gonna put up with it. Result.text. I don't actually know what the labels text thing is, but I'm gonna new label because they're gonna be initially 0, and got a naming conflict. That's why you need to name things well, and I still haven't. by the way. Still badly named, but I don't care. I don't care. Okay, and the buffer's going to do the same thing. So, you know, pew! And buffer equals that, and buffer label equals that. And then we're going to add the buffer label actually to the top. So we're going to make the grid one more high, 6. And we're going to add 2 different items, the buffer and the result. Result label. I didn't type label in the other one. Okay. And the result label should be bigger, of course, so the width is 2, and now that makes it divisible by the number of grid cells we have. Buffer doesn't exist. Yeah, well, that's true. That's because only the uppercase one is accessible now. And now we have a calculator. So 4 plus 5 plus, why is it 20 plus 6? What's going on? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. 7. It should be 7. No, it's always 10. It's always 10. It's going to always be 10. That's very annoying. Oh, no. No. That's not what we want at all. So apparently I've sent it to the same... Is there a way to do like a new lambda or something? Let's work on a copy, see if that... This isn't going to fix it. There's no way. In fact, it might break it. Okay. So I was right originally to do that. So basically what's happening is it's getting the state of what index was, but because index is a variable that's stored out here, when the functions run, the last state of index was the count, and that's why it's screwing up. So I suppose I need to create like a temporary or something for you. Actually, primitive types, they copy. They always copy. Int. This couldn't fix it, could it? Can it? Will it? Should it? Huh. 9 plus 57, 66. Plus 8 is 72, 74, sorry. There we go, we're getting something up there. And let's, that fixed it. Holy crap, that's surprising. That's because this gets destructed. So this gets deleted, so it works on its local copy when from its capture list, I think. Now, I'm mixing terminology because I'm, again, basically a C++ programmer, so my terminology is probably all wrong. I get confused, okay? All right. Anyway, in C++, getting a variable, like this one, inside this lambda would be called a capture list, and it would have these square brackets, and you'd be like, capture by reference or capture by value, and in this case it would have been fixed by doing capture by value. And I think what I'm doing here is in effect capture by value. So yeah. Anyway, there's probably actually a way to specify that. Oh well. So let's have a look what's wrong now. Okay. Seven. So at this point, the buffer is very likely 77. So we'll step forward a little bit, 77, very good. And we actually want to display that immediately. So are we? Are we displaying it? That's the question, isn't it? it's probably underneath this. Let's change the alignment so we can actually see things. Where did I construct these? So vertical, vertical, the. Is that not a thing? I don't know. And this isn't actually anywhere near done, but I'm going to copy these. It doesn't like autocomplete like that. Horizontal options equals new, equals new layout options. Fill. What does it want now? Expands. True. Sure. Why not? No. False. I don't want it to expand. Or do I? Screw it. What's going to happen? It's never going to expand, right? It will. I don't care. Okay. So now, result labels, right? And we want to do the buffer label too. So let's just do that. Done. Okay. So now we have this, and we've got 0. That's not right. Multiply by 0. Okay. Plus 2. Plus 2. Add it. 3 plus 3 plus is 10. That's good. 5 plus. Seems like these are like the same thing. Maybe I'm making them the same thing. Am I doing that? I am. Okay, so that's because I was printing buffer. So it might well be working. 5. There you go. 58. 589 plus 3. There you go. That's right. Cool. Some weirdness about this. Yeah. 3. So we're going to add 3. We're going to add 6. Going to add 3. And our results are good. Let's set up our text sizes a little bit. So there are some standard ways to do text sizes. Result label dot text size font size equals device dot get named size. Is that right? Sure. Large. Target element label. Is that right? Does that work? Why does that not work? So they want me to do a type of. That's fine. Kind of makes sense, but it's weird that it describes that as element. Anyway, I suppose they are all elements. So we should see a much larger result text. Yep. And we kind of want it bigger than that. Is it extra large? Oh well, screw it. That's big enough. Okay. Anyone who knows what I'm doing, please just look. If it doesn't know what I'm doing, just look away. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Is that not a thing? Is that? It's not a thing. How do you do it in C#? I don't know. Screw it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So we've tested all these things. Enter doesn't exist anymore, so we might as well just refactor our code a little bit to get rid of it. The best way to do it is you delete the variable name first, and then everything else propagates. So there we go. Hope you found this interesting. All I'm going to do now is make it a bit prettier, so I'm going to pause it, and then I'll resume it when it's pretty. Okay, just a few minutes of making things a bit, better sized and stuff. We've got this. And it's a nice, it's an app that's relatively okay. We don't have an enter button, so we have to use the plus button instead, which is a bit odd, but whatever. 0 plus 7 is 7, so. And plus 3. 3 plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. And we're going to do divided by 5. 5, divide. Hey, it's right, of course it is. Okay, so how do we get on other platforms? It's actually as easy as that. It's already on other platforms. Multi-platform development, when you're not interfacing with like the touchscreen and stuff, is trivial. So let's just change the target. Let's do Android. I can't do iOS because I don't have an iOS device around me. Apple requires that you do, so I don't. So I can't. Okay, so it started the build process. It shouldn't have to rebuild it because I already built it for an ARM. But it is a different Android, so who knows? Oh no, it seemed to rebuild it. No? I don't know. And it's almost done already. Wasn't that a lot faster? So when you do developing cross-platform, you really don't want to use the debugger. I was being lazy and I wasn't wanting to set up a webcam thing because, making videos is a little bit more difficult than not making videos. But as you can see, here's the app. And we're going to start off with 3. And so 3 plus 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 3. That's working. We're going to add one more. And we're going to divide it by 10. And that's 3. Okay, so I've just prettified the app and, I've added the proper mathematics symbols, divide plus multiply, and I've changed the color of the operations. I think it's looking quite good now, and I think this shows, it's not too difficult to create a cross-platform app if you're not interfacing with platform-specific features. So this calculator created if you extract all the wasted time in about 25 minutes. Hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Alright, bye.